Hi, it's Lizzie, and welcome to your next yoga class. If you are already on your mat and settled in, keep playing. Otherwise, take a moment to grab your mat, whatever yoga props you may need. Maybe a water, maybe a coffee, maybe a journal to write in. Whatever feels good to you today. Settle in and enjoy. Hello and welcome to this week's yoga class. Today we are filming at Love Your Mama's warehouse. If you're not sure what Love Your Mama is, it is a retail store that I own and operate that is based on refillable products, bulk products, and eco-friendly products. You can find more online at loveyourmamaoc.com. We're going to begin in child's pose today. We're going to open up our heart a little bit, strengthen through our legs, and open up our hips. So start with spreading the legs nice and wide and letting the torso fall heavy in between the legs. Arms are extended out in front, fingers are spread wide, forehead comes down to the mat. Start to even out your inhales and exhales, letting go of what you've done today, what you have to do later. Anything that doesn't serve you for the next 30 minutes, giving yourself the mindset and the present moment that you deserve. We're going to begin shifting forward into a seal variation. So as you shift forward, inhale the heart open like an upward facing dog, keeping the knees bent. And then as you exhale, move back into your child's pose. Inhaling forward, knees are bent, soles of the feet reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, send the hips back. For every inhale, open up your heart a little bit more, lift the chin, make neck circles if that feels good. And on an exhale, lengthen through the spine. Inhale, heart open, shift forward, open up through the belly. Exhale, send the hips back. Tuck the toes, send the hips up, downward facing dog. A few breaths here in your first downward facing dog of the day to pedal out the feet, works out the kicks and the cracks. And then use your exhale to settle in. Fingers are spread wide, gaze is up towards the thighs. Inhale, right leg lifts, bend, sack and open, draw the heel to the glute, opening through the hips, and then exhale to hug knee to nose. Round through the shoulders to create space so you can step that right foot between the hands. Left knee lowers down to the earth, left toes untuck. Everything comes into the midline for Anjaneyasana, low crescent. Inhale the arms up to frame the ears, shoulders pull down, shoulder blades pull together. Lengthen through the neck, lengthen through the spine. And then if you're ready and willing, start to bend into that right knee, allowing that left hip flexor to open up towards the earth, shifting forward. Exhale, bring both hands down to frame the front foot, lift the back knee, tuck the back toes, send the hips up, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, bend, stack and open. Push into the hands with equal amount, even though you're dispersed with your weight. And then exhale, knee to nose. Create space and step that left foot between the hands. Right knee finds the earth, right toes untuck. Inhale the arms up to frame the ears. Expanding through the heart space. And then if you're ready and willing, shift forward to allow that right hip flexor to open up a little bit more. Finding length through the quad. Exhale, both hands down, frame that front foot. Step back, find your high plank. Lower the knees down, shift forward about 2 inches, and lower down through your chaturanga. A modified chaturanga here to get us warmed up. Inhale your heart forward for upward facing dog, and then exhale to roll over the toes to down dog. Gazing up towards the thighs. Fingers are spread wide. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Step in between and set your foundation up to rise to warrior one. So we have heel to heel alignment. Our back foot is turned out about 45 degrees. Both hips are trying to square to the front of your mat. So I always recommend to lift up out of the hips a bit and turn that left hip forward in this particular position. Inhale the arms up to frame the ears. Shoulders roll down out of the ears here. Expand through the chest. Exhale, reach behind. Inhale, lift the heart, open up. Exhale, humble warrior. Hinge at the hips. Keep those binded fingers reaching up and over the head. Right shoulder comes to the inside of the right thigh. Again, opening through the shoulders, opening through our heart space. Root down into the feet. Inhale to rise up. Lift up out of the hips. Turn all 10 toes away to the side and find Skandasana by bending into the left knee. Glutes come down to the left heel, onto the left toes. Left heel reaches up to the glutes. Right leg's extended nice and long. Right toes flex up to the face. Hands come down to the mat. Yogi walk to the back. Left foot leads in a runner's lunge. Right foot lifts up for standing split. I personally like to pulse in my standing splits to create a little more space in my hips and to engage my glutes. Exhale, right foot meets the left at the back of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Weights in the heels, belly pulls into the spine. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it between the hands, root to rise, warrior one. Front knee is at a 90-degree angle. Heels are aligned with one another. Shoulders are out of the ears, even though the hands are reaching up towards the ceiling. Hips are squaring to the back of the mat. Reach behind. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips, humble warrior. Left shoulder is on the inside of the left thigh. Being mindful not to balance our weight of our shoulder onto the thigh. We want to be next to each other, not on top of each other. Lift up out of the hips, turn all 10 toes, Skandasana, bending into the right knee. Left leg is extended long, left toes flex up to the face. Hands can come down to the mat here, or you can have them at heart center. Use the hands down on the earth to yogi. Walk to the front of your mat. Left leg lift, standing split. Micro bend in the right knee as you need it. Exhale, left foot meets the right at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back, find your high plank. Shift forward about 2 inches and then move through your flow, bending in the elbows. Inhaling the arch forward and then exhaling to your down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step in between, root to rise, warrior one. Reach behind. Open up the heart on the inhale. Exhale, fold, humble warrior. Lots of repetition today to build that foundation and to start to open up in these heart spaces, through the hips, strengthening through the legs. Ground in to rise up and then turn all 10 toes towards the front. Skandasana, bending into the right knee. Hands release down, yogi walk to the back of the mat. Right foot leads in a runner's lunge. Left leg blows up and open for your standing split. Exhale as you lower that left leg back down long behind you for that runner's lunge. Left knee finds the earth, left toes untuck, Anjaneyasana. So if you know you're super flexy, we're moving into Ardha Hanumanasana. Start to heel toe your foot forward so you can create a little more space. Both hands will come down to frame the front leg, and then you'll send the hips back, allowing the right leg to find length, flexing the right toes up to the face for half splits pose. Physically reach back and feel your hips. You want them to be square with one another. And then keep that spine nice and long. So on an inhale, pull the shoulders down, pull the crown towards the toes. And then on an exhale, try to keep that spine nice and long as you fall over that leg, drawing the nose towards the knee. On an exhale, roll the foot back down. Take your time, heel toeing the foot back into the midline. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Step the left foot in to meet the right at the top of your mat, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hand, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. On an inhale, rise to warrior one. You've been here before. With the repetition, start to allow yourself to turn off the mind and just be present, feeling what's going on with your body, the sensations, what's strengthening, what needs to release. Reach behind, interlace the fingers, open up the heart, exhale, hinge, humble warrior. Root down into the feet, inhale to rise up, lift up out of the hips, turn all 10 toes facing the same way, left knee bends, Skandasana. Hands can be at heart center to challenge your balance and therefore turn on your core. Exhale, release the hands down, yogi walk to the front of the mat, left foot leads in a runner's lunge. Inhale, right leg lifts, standing split. Step that right foot long behind you in that runner's lunge, lower the knee down, lift up and then heel toe the foot out if you know that you're super flexy, and we'll move into half splits pose on the other side. Send the hips back, straighten out the left leg, flex the left toes to the face, open up the heart to the toes, and fold the torso over the leg. Use your breath here when things start to get uncomfortable. Allow yourself to surrender into it. Allow yourself that release. Use your breath. Stay present. Don't let your ego get in. Don't let your thoughts disrupt. Just let it go. Start to roll the foot back down on an exhale, heel toeing it back into the midline. Hands frame the front foot, lift the back knee, tuck the back toes, send the hips up to downward facing dog, and then shift forward to your high plank. Lower down through for your vinyasa. So exhale to chaturanga, inhale the heart forward, and exhale to down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step in between, root to rise, warrior one. Again, you've been here before. You know what you're doing now. Start to just take note of what you need to let go of. Don't let your ego in. Don't worry about what you look like. Listen to your body. Inhale, interlace the fingers. Exhale, humble warrior. Last little bit in this standing series. Inhale, root down into the feet to rise up, Skandasana, into the left knee. Right toes are flexing up to the face. Hands come down to the mat. Yogi walk to the back. Left foot leads in that runner's lunge. Right leg lifts up and high for your standing split. Release the right leg down to meet the left, and we're moving into crow pose. So hands will spread out nice and wide on the mat. Your gaze will go out about 6 to 8 inches in front of the hands in the middle, like a triangle. Your hands are the base of the triangle. It's important that your gaze stays there. Knees will come above the elbows on the backs of the arms. So maybe this is just enough for you. Maybe you just play with shifting the weight forward a little bit, keeping that gaze there. Then maybe you lift one foot at a time. And then maybe eventually you shift your weight forward, lifting the hips, drawing the feet up, drawing the heels towards the glutes, flying. Safely lower back down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step in between. Rise to your warrior one. Be mindful here that the right hip is pulling forward so you can open up both hips to the back of the mat. Inhale, reach behind, interlace the fingers. Exhale, humble warrior, hinge at the hips. Root down into the feet for strength and fire up the core to inhale to rise. Finding Skandasana, right knee bends, glutes go down to the heel. Left leg's extended long. Exhale, both hands down, yogi walk to the front. Left foot steps up for standing split. Lower the left leg to meet the right, and then we're going to try crow again. So you're welcome to just hang out here with your knees open, or you can try to fly. Maybe crow is in your practice. If you look up at me, you see that I start to straighten through the elbow, straightening out the arms. So maybe if you've already found your crow, you can start to work on crane by pushing into the hands and straightening through the arms at your next step. Release the feet down. Send the hips up in a nice forward fold. So just take a few moments here to shake it out in a nice standing forward fold. So head can hang heavy, shake it yes or no. Grab opposite elbows if that feels good. And then inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to plant the hands, step back, shift forward, move through your vinyasa. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, warrior one. Inhale, reach behind. Open up your heart space. Exhale, hinge, humble warrior. Inhale to rise, use your core, skandasana. Bend into the right knee. This time we're adding a twist. So right hand stays on the earth on the inside of the right foot. Left arm blows up and open. Twist from the hips. Feel your belly twist out here. Lengthen through the spine to do so. Exhale, unwind. Yogi walk to the back. Left leg lifts in that standing split. Exhale, left foot down to meet the right. Draw the left knee behind the left wrist, right knee behind the right wrist. We're moving into camel pose. So if you would like to bring a block into this, you can bring a block next to the feet or behind the feet. I'm starting out by doing one side at a time, so I'll reach back for that right heel with the right hand and keep the left arm extended. Inhale to lengthen back through center, and then left hand reaches for the left heel, right arm stays extended, heart is opening, belly is opening. Now I'm moving into the fullest expression, so right hand will reach back for the right heel. Left arm will follow, left arm reaches back to the left heel. Then once I have that bind, my head falls back, but I push my hips and my pelvis forward like I'm pushing myself flush against a wall, allowing my heart to open. And then exhale to release, come back down, come into tabletop, tuck the toes, send the hips up, down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it between. Last little bit here, warrior one. Reach behind, interlace the fingers. Exhale, humble warrior. Fire up the core. Push down into the mat with the feet to lift up and rise. And then skandasana into the left knee. Left hand stays on the mat. Right arm blows up and open. Find and feel your twist here. Our twists allow us to detoxify. Exhale, bring both hands back down. Yogi, walk to the front. Right leg lifts for the last standing split. Right foot releases down to meet the left. Send the hips down. Find your malasana yogi squat. So toes turn out on the outside edges of your mat. Hands at heart center. Elbows to the inside of the thighs. You can push into the hands here to open up through the hips a little bit by pushing into the thighs. Reach behind. Lower the sits bones down. Take a moment to inhale, length through the spine. Reach the hands behind the thighs. And then on an inhale, lift the feet for boat pose, Navasana. Take 10 seconds to lower down onto your mat. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Take a moment, windshield wiper the legs side to side here. And then we'll begin to prepare for bridge. So keep the knees bent, keep the soles of the feet on the earth, and begin to walk the heels into the glutes. So once you can feel the heels with your fingertips, you found your sweet spot. Keeping the thighs parallel with one another, being mindful not to allow them to splay out. We'll push into the mat with the heels, inhaling our hips high to the sky, pushing up onto the outside edges of the shoulders, allowing the heart to open up to the ceiling. Again, if you're feeling like your knees want to fall out of the midline, keep turning them in towards one another. Keep the thighs parallel. And then exhale, nice and slow, lower it down. Allow the feet to come to the outside edges of the mat. Allow the knees to knock in and windshield wiper side to side. Our second variation of this will be once we inhale the hips up, we'll walk the shoulders underneath so we can interlace the fingers underneath the back. Excuse my little visitor if you happen to be watching on the screen. And then when you're ready, inhale, push into the feet, lift the hips, walk the shoulders underneath, interlace the fingers, push into the back to the arms to really open up your heart space. Option to come onto the tippy toes here. And then use your exhale to release it all down. Again, feet come outside of the mat and you can windshield wiper side to side. Inhale, hug both knees in and then rock side to side. Bring both hands behind the thighs and start to rock forward and back, using your core here. So be mindful not to use momentum and pausing at the top of that rock a few times to allow your core to stop you in boat pose. And then eventually extend both legs out in front. Bending into the right knee, right foot comes on the earth, step it over the left thigh, and then we're moving into half Lord of the Fishes. So right hand comes behind the lower back, left hand hooks on the thigh for length. Use your inhales to pull the crown towards the ceiling. Use your exhales to twist a little bit deeper. And then exhale, unwind, let it go. Left knee bends. Left foot steps over the right thigh. This time left hand comes behind the back for the kickstand. Inhale the right arm high and then exhale to hook it onto that thigh, finding your twist. Inhaling for length and exhaling to twist a little bit deeper. Use your exhale to unwind nice and slow and then counter that stretch, bringing both hands to the other side. Unhook the feet, bring the soles of the feet to the earth, roll over and find your downward facing dog. We're moving into pigeon pose. So right knee comes behind right wrist, right ankle comes behind left wrist. Take a moment here to check in. So hips are square with one another, so reach back and feel them. Left leg's extended long behind you. Right toes are flexing at all times here. Open up your heart on an inhale and exhale to fold over the leg. Usually our hips store old energy, old stories, stagnant, weird emotions. So sometimes we can get a little emotional or feel a little weird when we find that release in our hips, or sometimes our ego gets involved. So try to breathe past that. Start to lift back up, hands come underneath the shoulders. Step back to down dog, and then we'll take it on the other side. So left knee comes behind the left wrist, left ankle comes behind the right wrist, left foot is flexing, hips are square. Inhale for a nice long spine and open heart, and exhale to fold over the leg. If you have blocks or pillows or something like a block, you can use the block underneath the forearms or the forehead in this posture. You can use a block between your thigh and the ground to bridge the gap. And just use your breath here to dismiss the thoughts, dismiss the ego, and let yourself surrender. Hands will come underneath the shoulders, push into the mat, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee to step back to down dog. And then step the feet forward, swing the legs out in front of you, and then bend into the knees, soles of the feet come onto the earth, and then using the core, lower down onto your back. Inhale to hug both knees into the chest and then let them fall over to the right. You can use that right hand to guide the knees down towards the earth. You can use a block between or under the knees here, and then arms can come straight out from the shoulders and gaze can go over to the left to find a deeper stretch. Start to release any controlled breathing here. Start to release any tension that you might be holding from the strength needed to hold these postures. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Gaze can go over to the right this time. Let the knees fall heavy. Let the shoulders fall heavy. Let gravity take over here. Start to slow down the breath and start to really seal in your practice. Seal all the good that you just did for yourself. Last little bit of letting it all go, letting go of what doesn't really matter. And then come back through center. Extend the legs nice and long. Let the feet splay out. Let the palms rest open, face up. And we're moving into Shavasana. So what I'll do is set you up for your Shavasana, and then I'm going to head out. It was an honor to guide you in your practice today, and you are welcome to lay here for as long as you need. The video will just cut itself off. So as we set up, let's begin to release any tension between our temples. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth, the jaw if it's clenched. Let your shoulders, your wrists, your hips, and your feet fall heavy into the earth. Neck is long. And if thoughts arise, acknowledge them and dismiss them. This is your time. This is your moment that you deserve. Take this moment to send gratitude to yourself for showing up today, for getting on your mat, for putting in the work, for opening up, for surrendering, for building strength emotionally and physically. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.